a job. Something I was supposed to get over this summer, which unfortunately, or fortunately, did not. And that might be a blessing in on itself because I am here now making this video for you guys, sharing with you my experience on researching, getting interviewed.
So do you watch soccer?
No.
Do you watch cricket though?
No, and confronting my interviewer about the DEVILCORP type job. So make sure to fully watch the video and stay to the end. And with that, let's get right into the video. So about a week ago, I got an email from this company called NoeCee Global stating that they saw my Indeed application and they wanted to go forward and schedule a Zoom interview with me. This was exciting. For the past couple months, I had gotten nothing or only rejection offers from companies or stores that I had applied to. And finally, someone was reaching out saying that they wanted to go forward with me in the hiring process. Because I wanted to prepare well for this, I went back to the Indeed job listings of my applied jobs to try and find exactly what I had applied for and to just review the job requirements and the whole job description. But as I was going through my applied jobs, I just couldn't find anything from NoeCee Global, and this kind of got me confused because here was a company that said that they found me on Indeed, they saw that application, and wanted to do a Zoom interview with me. But I just wasn't able to find them in my applied job listings. So I sent them an email back and a text message saying that, hey, thank you for reaching out. I wasn't able to find any job listing from your company, so I wanted to make sure that I actually applied to you guys. So can you send me the Indeed.com link of your job posting? 2 days went by without any response from them. After those 2 days though, I got a call from HR asking about what time was I available to schedule my Zoom interview for the first round. And before I answered that question, I asked the same question that I sent an email towards them to the HR person. And what they told me was there was a listing by a company called Ignite Industries, and if I had applied to that job, I was applying to NoeCee Global. They were like the same thing. I felt this to be kind of weird because if you're applying for a company, you're kind of expecting that you're gonna be going forward with that company and all the information that they provide, right? The location, the company name, the job description, everything will fit under what you applied for. What they had put out, Ignite Industries, the company name was different and the location was different as well. In the job posting, they put Fairfax, somewhere in Fairfax for Ignite Industries, but NoeCee Global was located in Tyson's Corner. So two different areas, two different names. There was something obviously wrong with this. So I decided to go further into my research about this company, and I'm going to show you exactly what I found. So let's do a quick review of already what we know. There's this entry-level marketing position listed by Ignite Industries located at Fairfax, VA. And this is the actual Indeed job listing that I applied to, as you can see over here. And if you scroll down, the actual job description is very small. And they keep it this way because they don't want people to actually know what they're getting into. And if you even take a second to read it, you won't get a clear understanding of exactly what you're applying to. If we look at the actual email they sent NoeCee Global, you can see that they received my application from Indeed about the entry-level marketing position. And nowhere in this email, and if I go back to Indeed, you will see any correlation or mention about the other company. So if over here at Indeed, there's no mention of NoeCee Global anywhere. And if you go back to my email, there's no mention of Ignite Industries. So if these two are really correlated together, there will be some sort of mentioning of the other company at either the email or the job posting, but there just isn't. So I already did my research on NoeCee Global, but I'm gonna do it again just to show you guys how easy and quick it is to search up any company that you apply to, because it's important that you know what you're applying for before you go forward with the hiring process. So what I like to do first is I like going to YouTube and seeing if somebody already made a video on the company, and just for me to see and hear how their experience was. So I'm going to go ahead, search up NoeCee Global Inc. And when I do this, immediately I see these two videos right here. The morning meeting from the Slave Circle by Precision Independent Media, and I was scammed into a fake job by How To Cameron. So when I first did my research, I saw these videos pop up, and this kind of surprised me because I did not expect to see this when I searched up the company name. So the next thing I do is I went to Google Maps to check out the reviews of the company that people might have left. So I go ahead, search it up, and their office is in Tyson's Corner over here. So I go to the reviews. I see their overall reviews are 4.4, and they have 43 reviews. A lot of them are 5-star reviews. And so I went ahead and I went through these reviews, these 5-star reviews, and something I noticed was that all of these are so similar sounding. All of these like just seem so fake and scripted that it doesn't give me like a real review of what the company is. And you can even go to this yourself, or you can pause the video and take a look at these reviews. But yeah, I just kind of felt off about these reviews. So I went and I looked at the lowest rating reviews, and this is where I found more information about how like the day went as an employee in the company. And one thing I noticed was also these reviews are highly liked. So this one has 41 likes, this one has 36, 13. This one was posted a day ago, so this one's very brand new. But either way, again, you guys can come, pause the video, read these reviews, because I took the time to read these reviews, and it really kind of opened my eyes to what I was about to get involved with this company. But nonetheless, I went ahead and I went to the NoeCee Global website, and if I click over here, I get into the landing page of NoeCee Global. And once again, I already went through everything at this website, and everything they say is very vague. There's nothing concrete. The only thing I managed to learn was that they basically do an entry sort of job at this company. But one thing that did stand out, and I wanted to point out, was if I go to the press area over here, right over here, let it load. So they actually expanded into a new location at Harrisonburg, VA. So let me click over here, read about it. And over here, they talk about their new expansion into Harrisonburg, VA. And the CEO mentions over here that this happened because of a guy named Alejandro and his promotion that led to this expansion. Now, this is a good thing overall for any company, right? Expanding into a different area means that your company is growing. That means that you're trying to branch out more to hire more employees. You're just building up your company, right? So this is also something that is used as a reason to show people why they keep on hiring more and more people, because if you keep opening up new places, you need more people. So I wanted to also see what the reviews were for this Harrisonburg, VA location, if they had any. And mind you, this was published in July 10, 2024. So about a year ago from when I'm recording this. So if I go over here and I search up NoeCee Global Harrisonburg, VA. Okay, right off the bat, I don't get anything about the Harrisonburg, VA location. I just get the same Tyson's Corner location. And I don't see anything off the top here. Mind you, they didn't put any address or anything in this little post here they made on LinkedIn, nor on the website. So I'm kind of confused on why they didn't do that. Their main office in Tyson's is pretty big and nice looking. You can see from these photos. But I scroll down a little bit and I see it right here. Ava HR, they have a location for this Harrisonburg, VA. And if I click over here, it's just like another job posting, except this time they actually use NoeCee Global instead of another company like Ignite Industries or whatnot. So I'm over here, I go back, so let's copy this address. So right here, Copy the whole thing. And if I go to Google Maps again, I post this address over here. And okay, from this image on the top left, I don't see anything. If I zoom in, I don't see anything with NoeCee Global or any sort of company building. So let's go into Street View. And when I go into Street View, there's no sort of like big company office looking building. The only thing close to it would be like this Wells Fargo Bank, this SunTrust Bank over here, anything remotely office building looking. And if I just go down a bit over here, apparently this building is owned by Garrison Press. There's nothing over here. These buildings look old and not used. And that's kind of odd. Like apparently they're supposed to have a brand new location right here, right at this spot. But instead we just have these old buildings over there. I don't know, not sure what this is. Has a bunch of satellite dishes on it. But yeah, there's like nothing here. So that led me to realize that what they have posted on here is actually fake. It's made up. There is no Harrisonburg, VA location. This post is completely false. And the reason why they do this is because they want to give a reason to interviewees about why they have like the job posting still open. Is they want to say that they're expanding out to a new location and they need people for that location. So that's why they keep the job listings up. And anyways, so I went back over here, NoeCee Global, and I'm looking back at these photos, right? This is a huge, nice office building. If I go to the street view, you can see the building as well over here. And I was thinking, you know, if the Harrisonburg VA doesn't exist, I wonder if Ignite Industries exists. I wonder if there's a building for that. So if I go ahead and search it up, Ignite Industries, Inc. VA, nothing pops up in my location. And the closest thing that do is a company called Ignitech, which is a software company, and Ignite Industrial Professionals, which is located in Ohio. So nothing in my area pops up. Right now, NoeCee Global has lied about the existence of Ignite Industries. They lied about their office location in Harrisonburg, VA. It doesn't exist. We already looked at that in the Google Maps. And so now I wanted to know exactly what is this company that is trying to hire me and putting all these fake listings of companies and office locations. And that's when I went back to the YouTube page and I went ahead and I actually watched these two videos and I learned more exactly what kind of company is a DEVILCORP company. And I also saw this, if you just search up NoeCee Global, just in Google, a Reddit post pops up of r/NTMLM. And it basically talks about if NoeCee Global is an M&M type of company. And I also didn't know what an MLM was at the time, so I also researched into that. And right now I'm going to give a quick explanation of what type of company an MLM and NoeCee Global is. Real quick before I start, I'm going to shout out Precision Independent Media. A lot of what I'm about to say comes from his documentary videos, and I really recommend that you go and check them out. They're great videos, and I personally learned a lot from watching those documentaries. So link to those will be in the description. Alright, let's keep this short and simple. So you first start off at this entry-level phase right here. What do you do over here? You get trained and you learn how to sell. You learn how to sell to people door to door or at big store retailers like Costco, Sam's Club, Walmart, places like that. You stay at this level for about 8 to 10 weeks. And once you're done with these 8 to 10 weeks, then you can move up to the team leader phase. The pay for this position is going to be around $10 to $11. This will most likely be the base rate pay. And any commission pay you get, you may not even get a commission rate in the first place. Some of these companies don't give you any commission, and if they do, it's going to be very low, at whatever the bare minimum is for that company. And at the end of the week, your paycheck will probably be like $200 to $400, probably maximum. And this is you're working from like 9 to 5 every day. Like you're working at least minimum 7 hours or longer. And there's also no overtime pay. So in any of these roles right here I'm going to mention, there's absolutely zero overtime pay. That is one thing to know. Alright, once you're done with this whole entry level phase, you're going to be moved up to the team leader phase. And over here, what you're going to do is you're going to be responsible of managing all of the new guys at the company, all of the entry level people. It's going to be your responsibility to train them, teach them how to sell, and you're also going to go out on the field into those stores or door to door and show them how it all works. And your goal in this team leader phase is to get as many people as possible to join your team. Because the more people you have on your team, the more it shows your growth in the company and your ability to handle responsibility, which kind of makes sense. The thing is, even at this stage over here, this team leader stage, your pay is going to maybe increase by only $1 max. And that's because essentially you're doing the same thing, but now you just have the responsibility of people under you, and the company will not pay you for that. And you still most likely won't get an increase in the commission pay either. You might actually get a 1% or lower commission pay from all of the people that are in your team. So if all of these guys amount to 1%, you'll get a little higher increase in pay, but nothing worth your time. You're still going to be working from like 9 to 5 or 9 to 10. There's a lot of hours you'll be putting in, and it's not worth the amount of pay you're getting. After you're done with the team leader phase, you're going to get moved up to the asset manager phase. And over here, now you're not responsible for all of these entry level guys. Instead, you're responsible for the team leaders. And now you're also responsible for the inventory the company has. And you have to make sure that they never run out of stock and they have plenty of inventory. At this asset manager phase, you're going to be spending even more time working for the company, and your pay will increase from the team leader, except maybe this time it will increase maybe like $3. So maybe you have $14 to $15 hourly pay. This is all being ambitious and giving you the upside because the company is very greedy. They do not want to pay you at all, pretty much. At this stage, you're going to still be putting a lot of hours, and just like the other ones, your amount of time that you work won't translate over to how much you get paid. And the final stage, the one where everybody goes to aim the most, the whole reason you're in here, this is the dream that they sold you when you got hired in this company. It's this final owner phase / manager phase right here. And over here, this is where they promised you the 6-figure salary per year. This is where all of your hard work is going to finally pay off. At least that's what you think. But when you get into this owner phase, you're going to get hit with a hard reality. And if you haven't realized it in the asset manager or team leader or even the entry level position, you're going to definitely realize it now at the owner phase. But during this phase, you're promised that you are now the owner or the head honcho of your own business. And that's what they sold you, right? But when you get into this phase, you're going to realize that there's still somebody above you and somebody that controls the amount of money that goes and runs in your business. And this is a realization that a lot of the owners that were interviewed in the documentary I mentioned before, this is what they realized, that they were not actually given a role where they own a business and they were the guys that made all the decisions, the final decisions, but instead they were still yet another employee for another branch. And if you remembered in the LinkedIn post where they mentioned the quote unquote new office in Harrisonburg, the whole reason was that because there was a guy named Alejandro that got promoted, and because of his promotion they opened a new office. So they say that because most likely he got promoted to this owner role, and that's why they have a new branch for him. But I bet he realized sooner or later that there was actually nothing over there, and instead was still stuck in this pyramid. So to wrap it all up, you started from the very bottom, an entry level, to a team leader, then an asset manager, and finally you're an owner. But the one thing that doesn't change is you guys escaping the field. The one thing that won't change is you will always be out there, no matter what your role is, always going out door to door or in those stores selling those products. And you probably won't notice it as an entry level or maybe even a team leader. And that's because your asset managers or owners will always go out after you have left the company building. And that's because they don't want you to see that this high level guy in the company that's supposed to be making 6 figures is still out and about going in the field and doing sales. And that's going to make you question about what exactly is going on within the company that they have the owner themselves out there doing sales. The worst part is once you become the owner, you're going to realize that everything has been a lie if you haven't noticed by then. And the thing is, you're going to have no flexibility in how you manage your business's money. You're going to have no say in how you run your own business. And you're going to always have to adhere to how the company, the big company that oversees everything, how they want you to run your own business. So you have no freedom in it at all. To say the least, everyone in this pyramid structure scheme right here, everyone is a victim of the scam, because the guy at the bottom is always thinking that once they make it to the top, once they just reach that owner level, that it's all going to work out, it's all going to pay out, and they will have a business with a 6-figure income. But once they reach that, it's just going to be too late. So now that I've shown you my research on the company and explained to you the structure of how the company works, I'm going to go ahead and show you the 2 interviews that I went ahead and did with them. And the first interview is basically a simple interview where they just kind of try to get a feel of who you are as a person. And the second interview is really the one where they explain to you more details about the company, how it works, how much you get paid, and stuff like that. Basically, for the first interview, there's this YouTuber by the name Ben Palmer, and he posts on his channel his interviews that he has with DEVILCORP companies. And I watched a couple of these videos, and the questions he got asked and I got asked, they were pretty similar. And I'm just going to quickly show you a couple clips of that right now.
Do you have a reliable means of transportation?
Do you have reliable means of transportation?
And do you have a reliable means of transportation? Or are you big on walking everywhere?
What would you say are going to be 2 important core values for the makings of any successful company?
What are some of the most important core values of a successful company?
In order to have a successful company, what are the 2 most important core values that you believe need to be instilled?
From there, we want individuals cross-trained into more of a leadership and management role.
More long-term, what we're looking for is to cross-train someone more into that leadership role.
And then cross-train them for the management role?
Nothing really happened for the rest of the first round interview, but I got a call later that night saying that I made it past that first round and was scheduled to do a second round interview tomorrow morning. And so I also recorded that interview, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how that went. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do some basic commentary over this interview and only show you guys the most interesting / notable parts of the interview. And basically we went ahead and did a little introduction between ourselves, and he mentioned that he was from something called Proprietor Syndicate, if I heard that correctly.
Yeah, this is a with Proprietor Syndicate.
And I never heard of that name before, and it just sounds like that's just going to be another name alongside Ignite Industries and the companies that totally exist. But besides that point, there was something that he said that totally caught me by surprise, and I kind of understand now how he's in the company in the first place.
I graduated in 2024. Then I moved to USA, and I started looking for different jobs and I found this one, which was pretty good.
Graduated 2024 and just moved to the USA. This guy is new to the country and fresh out of college. He's literally the perfect person to take advantage of as a company like NoeCee Global. And so, not to insult his knowledge or anything, but he might not know of companies like NoeCee Global trying to take advantage of people like him. People who are new, foreign, out of the country, college students who are looking for a job, or just desperate people in need of a job. And so when he sent his application to NoeCee Global, they probably thought they struck gold with this guy.
So that was the first round interview. Congratulations on that one that you cleared that one, and now you're doing your second round. So most of people they don't even qualify or they don't even pass through the first round. So yeah, you are among those lucky ones who are here.
Yeah, that's pretty much a lie. They accept anybody and everybody. As long as you're 18 and above, you're good to go.
What this program is like, we have divided into 4 phases.
Okay.
There are 4 phases for that, in because if we put you directly into a management position, we are kind of putting you or pushing you towards a failure, right?
So at this point of the interview, he starts to explain the 4 phases of how the company is structured and how you can move up. And it's exactly like how I mentioned with the pyramid. You start from the bottom and you work your way to the top. And might I remind you, we're all doing this in training to become a future manager. And last time I checked, I simply applied for a entry-level sales position, not expecting to become a manager, especially this early on. But hey, we're already climbing the corporate ladder, so I guess that's a good thing. Besides that though, he also mentioned some things like
Because this is a training program. We have hundreds of interview, like we do hundreds of interviews every day.
yeah.
Okay, we hire hundreds of people every day. We fire hundreds of people every day. So yeah, people come and people go.
So much for being one of the lucky ones that make it up to this point.
They don't even qualify or they don't even pass through the first round.
So after he was done with his explanation about the company, I went ahead and asked him a casual question of exactly how long he had been working for at the company. And his answer was, okay. And you've been with
Okay.
the company for like around a year, right? You said you moved here to
Yeah, I'm
the
like, no, I've been at the company for 2 months.
2 months? Are we actually being serious right now? This guy practically joined yesterday and he's already doing interviews, bro. This could not be real. But him working there for only 2 months and already starting to interview people actually shows how these companies only care about recruiting new people constantly, and it's how they stay afloat as a business.
Then the next part is like, how does this business work?
When he started to explain how the business worked, one key point he had was that the company was there not to sell a product, but was instead trying to promote a product. And I found this to be very funny because number one, I applied for an entry-level sales job, not some sort of promotional type job. And number two, this just wasn't true at all because when you're in front of those doors or in those stores, at that moment, you're trying to sell a product to the customer and you're not trying to promote anything because off of that sale, you're going to earn a commission and that's how you make majority of your money. And so I just found this to be extremely funny and I almost started laughing mid-interview.
Yeah. So yeah, we try to sell as well, but like selling is not our main objective. Okay, what I was trying to say is like, yeah, we do try to sell. I mean, selling is part of it.
Yes.
We will make profit when people buy it from us. But the thing is, what is more important? We have to. I think you're a bit confused over there, right? I think you're a bit confused over there, right?
For the rest of the interview, he talked about the pay and the daily schedule of the company, but I'm gonna go ahead and skip over those things because they usually lie to you about that sort of stuff during the interview, and you quickly figure that out when you actually go ahead and start working for the company. But if you really want to learn about that stuff, you can go ahead and watch the documentaries I have in the description where Precision Independent Media explains it really nicely about how those things work. Besides that though, I'm going to go ahead and skip towards the end of the interview where I ask him some questions about the company and finally confront him about the DEVILCORP company he's working for.
Yeah, we reached the last part. I'll ask you some questions. But yeah, I would love to hear from you first. I have a couple of questions for you, the qualifying questions. So I will ask that later. But yeah, you go ahead first. What are those questions?
When I was researching the company on my own, I saw some reviews and people were saying that this company is kind of like they're calling it a Devil Corp company or a pyramid scheme type company, so or
Yeah.
MLM type structure. So what do you have to say about that to someone
Yeah.
with like
So,
I have concerns if I have concerns
hmm
about it?
I got you. So, what do you think a pyramid scheme is?
What do you think a pyramid scheme is? Now, when I heard this response from him, I immediately thought that number one, he had dealt with this sort of stuff before in the past, and or number two, his company had trained him on how to deal with this sort of question. And that kind of set off an alarm because why have you dealt with this before in the past? And or why is your company teaching you how to deal with this? Because if your company is good and well, you should never have come across this sort of stuff from within the company on them training you or from outside the company from the people you're interviewing. But it just didn't seem like the case with this guy because his cool-headed response, is not that of a normal response, especially even if you heard it for the first time. You would have kind of like a surprise, shocked reaction and kind of want to understand why the guy you're interviewing is asking you this sort of question. But it just didn't seem like the case for him. And I gave my response on what I thought or my definition on what a pyramid scheme is, and he countered with his definition. And he basically mentioned later, a little bit later after that, that everybody in the company, all four stages, all of them go to the field and work. And that was something I mentioned before. But when I mentioned it, I said that they try to like hide it from you. But apparently, maybe they switched to like being more open about it or something. But yeah, he mentioned that all four levels of the company go out in the field to work. And that was just another surprising thing to hear from him.
Everybody here works.
Mm-hmm.
People in phase four, they still go to the field. They
Mm-hmm.
still work. Okay. People in phase three go to the field. People in phase two go to the field. People in phase one go to the field.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody goes to the field. Everybody puts in the same amount of effort. So it's not like yeah, people in phase four they're just sitting in the office chair in the office in an AC, and people in phase one they're working their off in the sorry for my language, but they're working so bad, like so hard
Mm-hmm.
in the field. No, it doesn't work like that. So everybody here works.
How about the guy above phase four?
A guy above phase four, they
Mm-hmm.
also work.
They
I
also
mean,
work.
so yeah, they are regional consultants, national consultants. So they have much more responsibilities. For example, they are managing two, three different territories
Mm-hmm.
at a time. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
So yeah, this is the part where I actually confront him, if you can call it that. And not gonna lie, I got pretty nervous, but I'm just gonna go ahead and play the clip. Okay, so I appreciate you taking the time to come with me for this interview, and I really appreciate it. But I'm not gonna go through with this company
Mhm.
because this is an MLM type of company. I'm gonna send you a video in the chat. I really encourage you to watch it, and it's because like this company, these types of companies are like everywhere around the world, and they have the same methodology, and like the way that you talk to me, I've seen this over many times,
Mhm.
and I really want you to know this because you're an immigrant, you're new here in America, and it's only been 2 months, so maybe you haven't seen it all. But I don't know what your situation is, how long you've been working. I don't know if you'll stay with this company, but I really encourage you to look further into the company you're working for, because I don't believe and I don't agree with the style of how the company works. Um, so I sent a video in the chat, so please take a look at it. It's an informative video, and it will really open your eyes to how this company is structured. So you can let me know that I won't be going forward with the company,
Mhm.
but yeah, inshallah, I wish you all the best,
Mhm. All right.
and yeah,
All right.
thank
Thank you
you.
very much. And yeah, it was good talking
Okay,
to you.
good talking to you
And
too.
all right.
All right,
Bye
assalamu
bye.
alaikum. I'll see you later.
Thanks. Bye.
You know what would be a crazy outro? Probably if I filmed it right in front of the actual building. So yeah, I made it over here to NoeCee Global, and I'm gonna film my outro bit over here. And you know, as I was rewatching that confrontation part that I had with him, quote unquote confrontation, you know, there were a lot of things that I could have honestly said better, and there were some things I could have added in as well to really, you know, make him question and think about working at the company, but I just didn't realize it then when I was actually confronting him. You know, I got too nervous. But I hope if he's here watching this video, and you know, you guys that are also watching this video, I hope this video is enough. Bro, is there a fly in my face? And you guys that are also watching this video, I hope it's enough to convince you that this sort of company is not worth it at all to work for, and it's just going to waste your time. I will say though, if you're already in this sort of company or had experience with this, you'll be much better at selling things that, you know, you're not really fond of, and that might help you in the long run. If that's anything to take positive from, that's definitely one thing to take. You know, besides that though, I hope you guys enjoy the video. You know, make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and share it with people especially that might be vulnerable to these sort of companies. You know, if I made any mistake or anything during this video, make sure to let me know down in the comments. I'll read all of them. And yeah, dude, I don't know. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I hope to see you guys also in my next one. With that, I'll see you guys later.